So, I basically gave my best friend to my husband as a gift. Yeah, sounds wild, but hear me out. I wanted to explore a more open-minded kind of marriage. My best friend Jessica, we've been tight since like forever, was always hitting up these wild clubs and swinger parties, and I was super curious. But my husband, Mike, total hard pass. He'd shut it down every time I brought it up. So one day I thought, maybe if he experienced it, he'd open up a little. So yeah, I kinda set her up with him. Jessica got married way before I did, and her husband, Brandon, had this whole open marriage thing going. Like, if they're at a party and she wants to hook up with someone, as long as he knows and is cool with it, it's all good. At first, I judged the hell out of her. I grew up in a super conservative household. You know, marriage is sacred, one man, one woman, all that. So when she told me about the stuff they were doing, I was like, girl, have some damn respect. I told her she was being trashy, and if they didn't love each other, they should just split up. We used to fight about it all the time. Like, I remember when this new club opened in the next town over and some celebrity was gonna be there. Jess came all hyped up to tell me, and we ended up having a huge argument. I told her to stop telling me about that nonsense, 'cause it made me sick. But years went by, and, well, my marriage started to feel flat. Like real stale. Y'all know what I mean. After a while, things just kinda go cold. It's not that same fire from when you're dating. So when Jess would talk about her crazy nights, I stopped judging. I started thinking, what if it was me and Mike? What if we tried something new? Sounded wild, yeah, but exciting too. Eventually, I told her that our sex life felt more like a chore, and I was low-key wanting to try something different. She was like, girl, talk to him. You won't know unless you bring it up. So I did. And oh man, he lost it. Like, said he'd rather move out than ever do something like that. He was all, I'll never sleep with anyone else and I'll never let you do it either. If you want that, we're done. I tried to explain it didn't have to go that far. We could just go to a club, see a show, maybe spice things up a bit. But he wasn't having it. Every time I brought it up, we'd fight. And then, I started thinking some dark thoughts. Like, what if he cheated on me? Maybe then I'd have a reason to say, all right, I'll forgive you, if you agree to try what I've been asking for. I brought it up to Jess. I said, what if he cheated? And she shot it down hard. She said it doesn't work that way, that both people gotta want it, or it'll just mess everything up. But I kept venting to her. I said, if something doesn't change, we might break up, and I love him, I really do. It's just our sex life is dead. Then I asked her the wildest thing. Would you hook up with him for me? She was shook. I mean, we were basically sisters growing up, so to her, sleeping with Mike was like unthinkable. But I explained it wouldn't be cheating. It'd be like a final move. One last play to maybe shake him up. Eventually, she started to consider it. She even talked to Brandon, who was super against it too. Said it wouldn't work unless both partners agreed, that this would be real cheating. But I kept talking to them, explaining how I thought that if Mike just got over the hump, broke the taboo, he'd probably even like it. And you know what? After a while, they were both kinda on board. It wasn't even hard to make it happen. Jess always had access to my place, just like I had to hers. All it took was a few times of her coming over when I wasn't home. She tried flirting, making moves. But Mike wouldn't budge. She'd come back like, girl, he's not biting. I don't think he'll cheat on you. He's loyal, old school. I've thrown everything at him. But eventually, he gave in. He told me. She felt guilty and came clean right after it happened. That's how I found out. So I went to Mike all heartbroken, acting super upset. I was like, "So, Jessica told me what happened." And he immediately went into damage control. Like, "I didn't mean to, it just happened, I'm so sorry." I said, "There's no excuse. You cheated. And I thought you were too principled to do that kind of thing. Turns out, you just didn't want to do it with me." I gave him the silent treatment for days. He kept trying to apologize. I kept saying I needed space. Then finally he came to me and said, "If I prove to you that it's not you that's the problem, will you forgive me?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "If I go to one of those clubs with you, will you forgive me?" I was stunned. Then he added, "Just know I'm doing this to prove to you the problem isn't you. But if I feel uncomfortable, we leave. No pressure." I played it cool, acted like I wasn't desperate for him to say yes. But inside I was screaming. So I said, "All right, we can go. But I'm not promising I'll forgive you." And we went. Jess recommended the place, obviously. I'd never been to one before. He was so uncomfortable. There were strippers, guys and girls, and you could see he was freaking out a little. Me. I was thriving. The energy, the vibe. Even just watching him watch things was enough to get me hyped. We didn't do anything that night with anyone, but it was a turning point. It felt like our marriage got a second wind right then and there. I'm not here trying to convince anyone of anything. If you don't get it, that's your problem. I'm just telling my story. Since that night, things between us have been so different. In a good way. He hasn't said he wants to go again, but I can tell he's warming up to the idea. He asks questions like, "You think Jess still goes to those places?" So I know he's thinking about it. And the moment he asks to go again, hell yeah, I'm saying yes. As for Jess, nothing changed between us. We're still close, still hang out like always. Mike has no clue it was all part of my plan. I do plan to tell him one day, when he's more open, when we're stronger. But not yet. Right now, if I told him, he might not forgive me. Hey loves, how's everyone doing? I really hope you're all good. Listen, I don't even need to say it. What happened in that story was super wrong, right? And I'm not even talking about having an open or non-traditional marriage. Honestly, I think everyone should live their life however they want, as long as no one's getting hurt. But the real issue for me was the setup. She literally manipulated the whole thing just so he would mess up, and then used that as an excuse to forgive him. I mean, that's just not okay. And you know what? Even if it takes 10, 20 years, if he ever finds out the truth, I doubt he'll be cool with it. It's not even just about the cheating part. It's about the betrayal of trust. In my opinion, she should have respected his boundaries. He clearly didn't want that kind of experience, and that's his right. I always say, when both people are on the same page, anything can work. But it has to be mutual, both sides have to be into it. You can't just push your partner into something they're not okay with. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like he was totally innocent either. I mean, he did end up sleeping with her friend. That's not okay. But again, the focus here is the fact that she planned the whole thing. If she was that unhappy in the marriage, maybe it would have been better to just be honest, have a real conversation and walk away. Then she could have found someone who's actually into that kind of open relationship lifestyle. And that's fine too. As long as it's honest and respectful. Anyway, that's just my take. You're totally welcome to share yours in the comments. Just keep it respectful as always, okay? If you enjoyed this breakdown, go ahead and give it a like, drop a comment, maybe even share it with someone who'd relate. It really helps us grow around here. Big hugs, stay safe, stay at peace, and I'll see you next time.